Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Toronto sign and CN Tower to go dark as city mourns death of Queen Elizabeth II. With the death of Queen Elizabeth II, what happens to Canadian bills and coins? Queen's death forces Conservative Party to readjust plans to announce next leader. 34-year-old Toronto man charged in child pornography investigation. Queen's Park passes bill giving Toronto Ottawa strong mayor powers. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau speaks of Queen's affection for Canadians. These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details. A Toronto man is facing several charges in connection with a child sexual abuse material investigation. Toronto police said they executed a search warrant at a residence in the area of Spadina Avenue and Lakeshore Boulevard West on February 2022 as a part of an ongoing investigation into allegations that an individual lured children online in regards to making child pornography. Officers located an unknown quantity of child abuse material during the search, police said. As a result, police have arrested 34-year-old Trevin Esantaraja. He has been charged with 2 counts of luring a child, 2 counts of making child pornography, possession of child pornography, and assessing child pornography. Police released an image of Santaraja on Wednesday as they believe there may be more victims. Toronto Mayor John Tory is paying tribute to the late Queen Elizabeth II as a beacon of eloquence, stability, and commitment to duty following her death at age 96. In a lengthy statement issued on Thursday afternoon, Tory offered his heartfelt condolences to the royal family as well as the many people throughout the Commonwealth who will be feeling a profound sense of loss in the wake of Queen's death. He said that the Queen was in many ways the one constant and reassuring presence in our own country on the world stage for decades. He also pointed out that Toronto has had a long and warm relationship with the Queen dating back to October 1951 when she traveled to the city in place of her ailing father, King George VI, and took part in then quintessential Toronto tradition of watching a Leafs game at Maple Leafs Gardens. She ultimately embarked on 6 visits to Toronto as head of state, the most recent coming in 2010. He also noted that the city recently planted 70 trees in Roundtree Mills Park to mark her Platinum Jubilee, which will now serving as a living tribute to the long-serving monarch. On Thursday afternoon, Ontario Premier Doug Ford also delivered a statement to a pool camera from his Queen's Park office in which he credited the Queen for teaching us the true meaning of selfless service. The City of Toronto has said that flags have been lowered to half-mast at all city facilities, parks and vessels. The Toronto sign will also be dimmed this evening in honor of the Queen as well as the CN Tower. Tory told CP24 that it's possible that the city will also pursue other ways to honor the Queen in the coming days. Canadians are used to be seeing Queen Elizabeth II on their money, but that will could change following the death of the longest-serving British monarch and Canadian head of state. However, the Bank of Canada, which produces Canada's paper bills, said changes likely won't be seen immediately. The current $20 banknote featuring the Queen is intended to circulate for years to come. The central bank said there is no legislative requirement to change the design within a prescribed period when the monarch changes its side. New banknotes, including the portrait subject, are approved by the finance minister. I don't know if we will, since there is only $20 that has the Queen on it, and Canadians may want to change this, said University of Toronto business history professor Dimitri Anastakis. Mint spokesperson Alex Reeve said the legal tender status of coins currently in circulation does not change when a new monarch ascends the throne. Coins with the face of the Queen's father, King George VI, circulated for decades after his death. They are more likely to change sooner than the bills, however, said Anastakis. The king cannot face the same direction as the Queen, who faces right, he added. Each monarch faces in the opposite direction to the one before. The Queen appeared on the Bank of Canada's first series of banknotes as a child in 1935. The next mayors of Toronto and Ottawa will now be able to veto certain bylaws as the Ontario legislature passed a bill Thursday to give the leaders so-called strong mayor powers in a bid to get housing built more quickly. It gives the mayors the authority to veto bylaws that conflict with provincial priorities such as building housing. A council could override the mayor's veto with a 2/3 majority vote. Toronto Mayor John Tory has expressed support for the plan, while the outgoing Ottawa Mayor and two of the top contenders to replace him have said they are not in favor. The opposition parties say the legislation amounts to Premier Doug Ford interfering in municipal politics right before the October municipal elections. It doesn't even mention housing in the bill at all, said NDP critic Jeff Birch. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario has said the province must have broad consultations if it plans to expand the power to more cities. The legislation also gives the mayors the responsibility for preparing tabling their city's budget instead of council appointing a chief administrative officer and hiring and firing department heads, except for statutory appointments such as an auditor general, police chief, or fire chief. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke fondly of the Queen after her death Thursday, saying she was one of his favorite people in the world and that she served with strength and wisdom during 70 years on the throne. Trudeau said the longest-serving British monarch, who died at age 96, had an obvious, deep and abiding love and affection for Canadians. Trudeau's eyes were red and he forced himself to maintain composure as he gave a brief statement to reporters in Vancouver. He said that as the Queen's 12th Canadian Prime Minister, he's having trouble believing that his last meeting with her was his final one. He called her thoughtful, wise, curious, helpful and funny, adding that he will miss her so. The monarch's representative in Canada, Governor-General Mary Simons, said the Queen believed in her service to people above all and was in equal measures compassionate, dedicated, humble, engaged, and wise. She said during her visit to London for Platinum Jubilee celebrations this summer, the Queen gave her a warm welcome and it was a profound moment in our lives and a memory we will cherish forever. Protocol calls for 10 days of mourning following the Queen's death. A funeral date is expected to be announced soon, which Governors General and Commonwealth Prime Ministers are expected to attend in London. The cabinet meeting in Vancouver is scheduled to continue Thursday afternoon as planned, but an expected announcement from Trudeau on affordability was cancelled. Ministers arrived for the meeting shortly before 9 a.m., but several left moments later before returning in more muted colors of clothing. The royal family announced the Queen's death half an hour later. Trudeau informed his cabinet a few minutes before he issued his public statement. Staff handed out black ribbons that ministers pinned to their lapels. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.